Lysekil race. So this is the Great Lysekil race on the Swedish west coast a week before midsummer. The track goes clockwise from Lysekil out in the archipelago and then back again to the finish line. The track is 17 nautical mile long. The wind is from northwest today. Here you can see the starting line between the lighthouse and the small starting house on the island outside Lysekil. The wind is about 6 knots right here, but it will pick up during the day and increase to maybe 10-12 knots at maximum. It's 10 boats in the race. The slowest start at 11 and the fastest around 12. And it's a Smiling X302 CB66 Racer, Dealer 35 Dominant 95 Arcona, Finflyer Prima 38 Bavaria Match and my boat Corsair Dash 750. It's a coastal race in the archipelago. Today it's light wind and very small waves. It will start with a very long upwind and then it's about 4 mark you need to go around during the downwind. First boats are coming out from the harbor and doing some preparation. Here you can see the Dealer 35 with Thomas Bengtsson sailing shorthanded with Leif Svensson. In the smallest boat in the fleet is Göran Jonsson also sailing shorthanded. In one of the fastest boats is Prima 38 and it's Gunnar Höglind sailing that with British sails, looks like. The fastest boat of the monohulls is the Bavaria March 38 with Rickard Fornum. The black pirate ship here is the Finflyer 36 with Rickard Bergman that also arranging the whole Lysekil race. 7 people on board, looks fast, will be very dangerous today I think. And here is my trimaran Corsair Dash 750. I sailing shorthanded with my dad Gunnar. I am steering upwind and my dad is steering downwind when I handle the Jennaker and the Code Zero. The first boat is the Smiling with Joakim Arbin, has already gone away here. And the other boat is preparing. You can see it's quite shallow next to the lighthouse. You can see the bottom there. So you need to watch out if you come from port. The X302 with the Bosse Kallenberg is starting here and it's the second boat away. We are close to the line. When the start goes off here, we tacking to starboard and starting the long upwind. We can see the previous start in the horizon, but we are not catching up anything. It's a little too light to go faster than them today. And quite soon we are outside Old Island. The first boat we're catching up with is the Deler 35 with Thomas and Leif. It's a lot of cruisers out there as well. You have to watch out when you come from port, and there is a Nautic Swan 44, a really good upwind boat that is not in the race. When we get in closer to the upwind mark, we can see the fin flyer, and I think it's Bavaria Match we are meeting here as well. Here is the dominant 95. I think this is the Prima 38, still no downwind sails, but I can see they are doing something with the Jennaker. After going around the top mark and weather mark, it will be very flat. The wind is not so strong either. We put up the Jennaker and reaching down to the next mark. After a very long upwind, finally around the top mark and going with Jennaker. 2 hours upwind and now downwind, and then it will be some wind for the side before it finished. We have passed, I think, 2 or 3 boats, and we need to catch up with all of them. The first downwind mark is the big lighthouse Dynabrott, and then it will be wind a lot from the side, and we decide to switch to our code 0 from the Jennaker. We will not manage the Jennaker at all, I think. Here is our absolutely best part of the race. It's only 10 minutes, but we are going pretty fast. 10-11 knots during this short path with the wind from the side and the code 0, and catching up a bit with the Next we need to switch back to the Jennaker and taking a jibe, a lot of things, but it turns out pretty okay. Next mark, jibe again, and we believe we could manage the Jennaker on this leg, and we're aiming for that. The other boat managed, and yeah, it's going okay. The wind has picked up a bit, and we are doing 10-11 knots with the Jennaker, even that we're going downwind. Just a few minutes later, a new mark, and this time it's getting much more difficult. We can see that CB66 going outside the island in front and taking down the Jennaker. We decide to try the Jennaker for a bit. We are not so successful. The X-302 in front of us here takes down the Jennaker, and we are doing the same and think we could handle the code instead. Doing some shitty things, dropping one line, and the Jennaker is away in the air. I was lucky and I could reach it and take it down anyway. Losing some time, and it would be helpful to have someone more on board doing all those things. When we fall out our code 0, we starting to go fast again, finally. The wind comes even more in front of us. We fall out the jib if the code couldn't handle it, but we ended up with both up pretty decent speed anyway, fully in the jib again and heading downwind. Göran is only like 200 meters in front of us here, but it's very close to the finish line as well. We're going downwind with the code, not the fastest, but then just outside Lysekil, the wind comes more from the side. We're getting really good speed with the code 0. We didn't manage to pass Göran. He finished some seconds before us. We have needed some more distance to beat him. Rickard Bergman is winning the race with his Finnfire 36, followed by the Rickard Fornum in Bavaria match and Anders Brunström in Arkona 340. Well done. We ended up first of the multi-hulls, surprise, on place number 7. Really great race and thanks a lot. See you next time.